Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. This music is fucking rocking. Let's just listen to this for a bit. The soundtrack in this game is amazing. Alright, let's actually go into the game though. So, I've been playing this for about an hour at this point, and while under most normal circumstances I would be... what's the word I'm looking for? I'd play a little bit more to try and get a more complete look at the game. At this point, considering my general lack of rhythm, that's basically the best way I can put it, my general lack of rhythm, I have an opinion on this game which probably won't be changed by any more experience or any more skill in it. So, let's get going, shall we? So this is our main lobby, and I've turned off the normal gameplay immediately for this area because it's just completely unnecessary. But nevertheless, let's have a look around, shall we? So if we go to the Beastmaster, he can let us practice on specific enemy types, which is actually very useful in this game considering the rhythm. We've got Merlin, the Dungeon Master, and Hephaestus. Is that how you say that? Hephaestus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a guess on that. This guy sells permanent upgrades, and the other guys sell items. So you bring back diamonds from your previous runs. As you can see in the top right there, I've got a bunch of diamonds. And you spend them, and you get these different items and these upgrades. I would recommend getting heart containers as soon as possible, by the way. There are other guys lying around as well. You find these guys by going through the dungeons and then opening their doors and going through to them. As you can see, you can also remove items from the pool, so it makes them easier to find. So, you know, if you have a better item, so like, if I wanted to remove the cheese, so I had more of an opportunity to pick up like the ring of gold or the drumstick, well, I could do that. So, that's actually pretty useful. I imagine there's a bunch of other really useful things as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Zone 1, which is the very first zone, because I absolutely suck at this game. And then we'll move on to Zone 2 later on, because Zone 2 is actually really hard. So, there are multiple characters you can get, but they unfortunately take passing certain zones and all that. And they do have their own modes. Like, for example, the Bard, it doesn't have the beats, which is actually really useful, but kind of removes the point of the game. You've got Eli, who has infinite bombs, and this is the main character, Cadence, who is just completely normal. I'm going to hold on to Cadence for a little while. And before we go in, like, I know I'm stalling a lot, but let's actually go and have a look at the options menu first. This game was made by Blitworks, at least the port was. The game was made by, I can't remember now, but the port itself was made by Blitworks, so you can pick your default character here, which is actually quite useful. And you've got a ton of different options here to make sure you feel comfortable. I'd recommend keeping the diamond reminder on because it means you can just go to the quick restart, and if you've got enough diamonds to go buy something, you can go actually get something with the diamonds. 2 audio sliders here, but they're the only 2 audio sliders that matter, so it doesn't really matter. You can turn off the screen shake and the disco floor. They actually recommend you turn off the disco floor if you're epileptic, which is actually quite nice. You can also reassign every single control individually, which is really useful, but I'm actually going to keep it on the default because the default isn't that bad. And you can also change the individual soundtracks for every character. So if you want to play like the Family Jewels soundtrack, which is absolutely fantastic on one character, and then play the default soundtrack on any other one, like Danny B is the guy who composed the Super Meat Boy soundtrack. So that's actually quite useful, but yeah. So we'll actually swap to the bomb guy, and then later on, so that we can actually have a listen to the other kinds of soundtrack. But yeah. So here we are in Crypt of the Necrodancer. It is actually a fairly competent roguelike. Like, people have been using the term roguelite in order to describe games that have like permadeath mechanics and all that, but this game actually does fill a lot of the roguelike things. It's got permadeath, it's got randomly generated levels, it's got all sorts of different items, and it's turn-based, and it's permadeath. So, it does have a lot of the things that would consider this game to be a roguelike. But anyway, it also does have that post-game upgrade system that a lot of these games tend to have. But anyway, let's talk about the actual game. You are the Necrodancer, and you can dance for some bloody reason. And the idea is The game moves to the beat, and the enemies move to the beat. Everything moves to the beat. And you have to try and work your way around the beat. You have to defeat the enemies by taking advantage of the beat. And if you fail, like I am, repeatedly here, you'll actually get hurt. And if you run out of health, you die, that's it, try again. I hate this. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I absolutely hate this gameplay because I have zero sense of rhythm. Absolutely no sense of rhythm whatsoever. So, this game just gets up my ass so quickly, you have no idea. But just the rhythm and having to be constantly on the move, because if you don't move on the beat, you lose your coin multiplier, which means you can't get as many coins. That is one of the main reasons for missing the beat, but also since everything else works on the beat, everything else will move with you. So there is a bit of a problem with having to be constantly moving in order to not only lose your coin multiplier, but to just, you know, just keep yourself moving, keep yourself out of the way of enemies and stuff like that. Because they move on the beat no matter what you do. So if you miss a beat, even by just the slightest of timings, you get screwed. Because you need to be constantly attacking and constantly making sure you're not going to run into people. And this gameplay doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. So, unfortunately, I absolutely hate this. I will give the game credit for including the character that doesn't work on the beat at all, but every other character in the game apparently works on the beat. There's one character that actually works in that if you miss a single beat, game over, which, my god, it's like trying to kill me. But to say that the game isn't good would be an absolute lie, because the rhythm gameplay actually works really well in its own context. So you've got all these different enemies that have all these different abilities, and they all work on different patterns, so it is actually a challenge to move them all. To move with them all in order to, like, learn the patterns, in order to, see, like, look at this room here. This room would be insane if you didn't know the patterns and you were stuck on the base weapon. You do have to destroy a mini-boss in order to move down to the next level. Every zone has 4 levels in a boss. Got to beat the boss to get to the end of the zone, and you unlock more zones as you beat zones. It's that simple, really. And of course, you can use coins to buy stuff at the shop, and there's plenty of secrets hidden around too, and there's also these traps which will activate and do different things. I'm just going to take these... Maybe I'm not going to take these guys out, because I'm going to bloody die. We'll just quick restart, because there's really no point in continuing, but there's really no point going back to the lobby if you don't have the diamonds you need in order to buy an upgrade. You do get more diamonds on the later zones, so there is a reason to continue playing, but at the same time, it's just a bit of a pain in the ass when you can't play through very well on a later zone, and you try to play an early zone to get more diamonds, and you still suck anyway, so it just gets really hard. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, honestly. There are also things you can get, like spells and usable items, like healing items and stuff like that. So basically, it really is just like a typical roguelike, but the rhythm gameplay on top is what makes it unique. And I will admit, if you're a rhythm game fan, you will love this shit. You will love this shit to the end of the earth. But me, I can't flip and stand it. It's just so difficult for me to keep the beat. Everything in this game works on the beat, and I can't keep the beat. It's just... I don't have a problem with learning individual, say, monster patterns, right? It's simply keeping it all together while trying not to get the shit handed to you by every enemy in the room. Like, there's 4 enemies, there's a bunch of traps, and it's a massive pain in the ass to keep it all, just to keep it all in check. So, me, I just have massive trouble keeping that all together in one go. If you can keep that all together, you'll probably enjoy the shit out of this game, because, ow, there's a ton of different patterns to learn, a ton of different items to get, and Just, there is a lot of content to be had with all the different characters and all that. And the soundtrack is phenomenal. I'll let you listen to a bit of it. Yeah, I kind of suck at this. I have my eyes in one place and then someone attacks me from another place and I forget that I have a spell because it's just constantly going. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the lobby. I'm going to pick a different character and so we can have some different background music and I can go to Zone 2. So let's go with... Actually, I can't go to Zone 2 with this guy because it's not fucking unlocked. Great. Alright, I'll go back and... I'll change the soundtrack for... Do I have to do this from... Yeah, I have to do this from outside the character select, don't I? You know, I'll do it with the bard so I don't have to worry about the beat. Except I can't do that either. Shit. I keep forgetting. Alright. Cadence. Let's get the soundtrack. Let's get a different soundtrack. Let's just go with the default soundtrack. There is one big problem I would like them to patch, though, if possible. If you pause the game, it doesn't actually give you an opportunity to get back on the beat before you miss the beat and end up losing your coin multiplier. Honestly, that's infuriating. I hope they fix that in a patch or something, but yeah. That was a quick look at Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's a good game, and it has a lot of content, and it uses its concept in a lot of entertaining ways. I just can't bloody stand it because I have zero sense of rhythm, and this game actively punishes you for that. So, that, and you need to be managing like 5 different things at once, and that can get infuriating very quickly. But, at the same time, for people who like rhythm games and can actually keep their shit together, you will probably love this. This is a very well-made, well-designed game. I just can't bloody stand it for obvious reasons. Ow. Ow. Yeah, there's a lot of that. But yeah, that was a very quick look at Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's currently 10% off, so it's like $13.49, but it'll be like $15 regularly. Wouldn't recommend it to people who don't have a sense of rhythm, but if you do, you'll probably love the shit out of it. The music's great, the gameplay adapts the rhythm-based gameplay around everything, so it actually works pretty damn well. I just hate it. I hate its guts. I hate it to death. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.